welcome to your reading. Let's tap in and see what comes through today. What is you need to know for your highest good when you click on this video. I'm going to start with some oracle cards just so I get like an overview. Oh. Okay. Straight into the underworld. Let's see. Well, you know, death comes in many different forms. Before I tell you about what I'm picking up on, let me just grab a few cards from Trusted Tarot. Okay, basically there's a message, there's a transmission coming through. Death is a portal, okay? It's ultimately a portal, it's a doorway. You could be dealing with death right now, like maybe someone just passed over around you. But at the same time, I'm hearing what I already touched upon. Death comes in many shapes and forms. You can also go through death and rebirth within your living life. And that as well in itself will be a portal. So it's not, everything's not as it seems, you know, depending where you come from, what your background is, how you grew up. You know, some cultures, some places are very, you know, death is very, you know, doom, gloom, dark. And then other cultures celebrate it and it's more colorful and I guess more a celebration of the journey continuing in a way that may not be visible to us, to our eyes. So that's pretty much the transmission is meant to, it feels like it's meant to be a bit like, you know, lift you up a bit. If you are mourning or you have been mourning or you are grieving, that ultimately it's a portal. That's why we also call it passing over, because it's just stepping into a different sphere. So, yeah, if you can receive it, you will. If not, then, you know, it may not be for you. I'm going to move on to the spread. Yeah, this is very much tying into a reading that I already channeled for you lot. It was called Your Authenticity Pisses a lot of people off, but also draws the right people in. That seems to be happening in real time right now. Like if you've been preparing for that or you've been not really seeing the effects yet, now it seems to be happening in real time, because if you're aware of this or not, what I'm hearing is that you have people literally looking towards you because they see you as kin. They recognize your coding, they recognize your truth. So this literally means that you've shed the masks, you've shed what you roles you may have thought you need to play to be liked or to be, I'm hearing witnessed, when actually you seem to be someone who always has wanted to be witnessed as your true self. But to be witnessed as your true self, you need to shed the layers that keep you hidden, you know, the masks, the roles, the conditioning, the you're too much or you're too much of this, you know, the congestion, which is also is level 1 when you work with me, when you book in for a session. That's the first level, is we work at getting rid of what has been congesting your true signal. And a lot of it you're not even aware of, because conditioning is called conditioning for a reason. You literally gotten programmed. And some go their whole life without even realizing that they've been programmed and that they're running a program that doesn't even ring true to them. So yeah, I just heard an elevated soul. You seem to be an elevated soul because you do have, like, you've gotten to a place where you may not have even needed to book in for clearing sessions, you may have your own tools, or you may just have, I'm hearing you've been following guidance and your own path. So, many different routes, many different paths lead to Rome. So there's different ways to go about this. What is important for you to know is that you are vibrating more on true frequency, and you're also recognizing this within other, which makes sense that you'd be here as well. So this is good. This is good news. Again, if you haven't been noticing it yet, it's coming in real time. Like, I am picking up there are people looking towards you. They're recognizing your truth. They're recognizing your true signal. So, can you tell me more about the Tower, please? Oh, again. I'm saying again because if you've come from last reading, we've got a King of Wands pop up again. You still seem to be dealing with some stress, but it's not really yours. This is what I just briefly touched upon with being congested. You are picking up on someone else's grief and sadness, again, because of apparently the breakup. You're basically picking up how someone else is going through it and processing it. So this is just for you a little message, or just a reminder that not every thought that you think is yours, not everything that you pick up on as a wave of emotion, a wave of anger, rage, is not always yours. Especially if you're sensitive and tuned in and you have psychic abilities, then this is a big part of learning how to deal with your gifts, is recognizing what is yours and what does not belong to yours. But I'm not going to touch on this more because this is literally what Patreon is there for. It will there's a rite of passage. It will exactly take you through this step by step. So I do recommend, if you want to learn more about your natural abilities, your natural gifts, you want to be part of a safe space where you can also share with others who are going through the same as you are, Patreon is the place for that. Okay, so I'm going to move on from this. Queen of Wands and a King of Pentacles. This is looking interesting because this is as well a bit of a newer, fresher energy. Tell me more about this, please. Yeah, strong second energy coming through, like fiery, sun-coded. Either you are this way or you're attracted to someone who's like this. Like the living sunshine, or even if they're not always smiling, living sunshine. Like, this is important to discern. You can be sun-coded, second-coded without smiling all the time. It's just the energy you bring into a room, like you light up a room just naturally. It's just your natural frequency, but also it is a clear signal. The way I'm picking up on this is a clear signal. It's not congested, and apparently you've been that's why I'm saying either you are this way or you are looking towards someone that you recognize this in, and there's attraction. What I'm getting is that whoever this sun-coded person is, they're kind of got some head spinning. Like, there's multiple people that seem to want to woo you and sweep you off your feet, which also ties into the first bit of your signal is being clear and your truth you being recognized for your truth. And you got to understand, this is not an easy, this is quite an accomplishment, because a lot of your signals get distorted by the people you hang out with, by mimics and leeches and parasites. They can all distort your true signal, and that as well will then keep you hidden from certain opportunities that divinely yours, like divine inheritance. So that's why the work is really important. Also the work that I offer, the one-on-one sessions, are really important for that reason. They literally are life-changing. So just as a side note, that this is an accomplishment. Whenever I speak of your signal being clear, it means there's no distortions. And yeah, I'm not surprised that you have a multitude of people really seeing you as either a suitable partner or like a suitable collaborator, or it's just suitable for what they envision for their life. I just heard high level tears, like these are from a high, like high voltage, high frequency beings just like you. That's why second was coming through. That's literally just like sun. You know how powerful the sun is. It's literally, well, it's life bringing, life giving. Like without the sun would be nothing. So also some deep ancient coding here that you have running. This is coming from your bloodline, and part of it is you remembering that. So I just want a little bit more on this King of Pentacles. You've come to the right place. Like if you read the description, what this channel is about, you will understand why you're here. And yeah, I don't have to do anything for that, because I just naturally attract, the right people to this place. It's like magic. You're getting a lot of Wands energy again. The thing is, this King of Wands that I've been picking up on and reading on, you seem to be someone who's looking towards the sun-coded. Like you seem to be seeing someone within your vicinity who carries codes that is helping you remember who you are. Because you may have forgotten it through whatever you were mixed up in, or just like maybe not even that alone, that relationship alone, but like a multitude of relationships that you have within your life. That's why I'm saying it gets congested. And then it can be divine intervention, it can be an answered prayer, that someone walks into your life that literally reminds you who you are, reminds you what you're here to do, reminds you of your innate coding, your blueprint that may have gotten hidden for eons, and uncovering that can be brutal. That's also tied to the first bit of like death and rebirth. You will go through death and rebirth processes which are painful, because you literally, like, parts of you are dying off so that new ones or deeper encoded ones can emerge and take over and somewhat override your system with your truth. Ultimately, that's your truth. It's not the roles that your parents or society or whoever wants you to play. Like, you may be something totally different, and that's why when you start following spirit, it can take you on a journey where you thought you never end up. And a big part of that is surrendering and really, seeing it as a blessing. If you have someone that you can look towards who's reminding you and remember, like activating you in a way that you remember, that is a blessing. And you don't have to speak it out loud, but you can acknowledge it. Did you just see that glitch? Anyways, so but whoever you're looking towards you're not the only one looking towards them. They've got a multitude of prospects, or like if you're at the receiving end, if you're on the other end, if you're the second coded, I guess being you are literally attracting you're doing this, you have this effect on a multitude of people where you activate them. You activate them and helps them remember. But the thing is, some will resist it, and that's for you important. to know or not internalize that it's something wrong with you. It's just some are not ready to walk through the threshold. Some wanna or need, like, will choose the comfort levels. So this is when you, for example, start dating someone, or you get into a relationship, or you start getting to know someone, and then suddenly you see them back with their ex, or you see them back with whatever relationship they got out of. It's because they went back to what's comfortable, because they may not be ready for what you act like. Sometimes it can scare a person when their true nature, when you remind them of their true nature. Because it can come with responsibilities, and it can come with initiations and rites of passages that they are not ready for, or they think they're not ready for it, and then they go back to the comfort zone. So it's important that you don't internalize that as there being something wrong with you, because there really isn't. It just means you're meant to be with more high voltage beings that can keep up with you and that can actually walk the path with you and don't freaking shit the pants when it gets a bit real. And go hide away and go back to, comfort. That was a whole reading that already came through. I think it was, let me see, I think it was 2 readings back. Yeah, why are you still investing in what seems to be dead end? That is somewhat of the epitome of staying in your comfort, in your comfort zone. But in this case, I am reading for someone, you have a multitude of options. You seem to have, like, this is more the second coded, I keep wanting to say priestess, but I want to use that very lightly, that term, because a lot of people, or women especially, describe themselves as priestesses. And I already touched on this on Patreon, like how many of them really got true initiations for it and really walked the rites and uncoded for it. I'm not really sure. So I kept hearing the word, but I kept resisting saying it out loud, because I don't throw about that lightly. So anyways, let's just call it second coded. Second coded person is one that is, this is pure vital life force. This is abundance, prosperity coding. Really, like, your mind is, for one, again, I'm hearing the signal is clear, but also you're not functioning from scarcity mindset. And that is why there's significant changes that are happening within your life, is what I'm just hearing. Like, why there's so many doorways opening up, or you seeing possibilities that may have not been there before, and you're getting witnessed. Like, that's what is a really strong message, is that you're being witnessed for who you are, for who you truly are. Again, I'm just going to remind you, that's just coming from you having cleared away a lot of congestion. You've done a big chunk of the work that was needed to get you to this place where you're at here. And whenever you get to a place where you're meant to be at, you may feel like celebrating, you may feel really good about yourself, you may get like surges of creativity, and like I just saw a volcano. You could be lit up as well in your lower chakras, they could just be, buzzing. So that is just pure life force that is brimming out of you. And of course that is going to attract suitors. Of course you're going to attract like a multitude interested in you. And again, what's important though is that they seem to be at your level, and the ones that are not at your level, they're going to naturally fall away, because they're exactly either going to go back to the comfort zone, or if they have the courage and they have somewhat, I'm hearing, know-how as well, they will fight the demons, or they will do the necessary work. They might start looking into energy work or clearing whatever is needed to, I am getting to keep up with you. It doesn't have to be energy work, clearing. That's why that already came through. There's many different pathways that lead to Rome, but once you're activated, there's like a certain window that opens up and you will be met with certain tests or like threshold moments, which is going to decide, are you going to step forward even if the path isn't fully clear, even if you may not know where it's going to lead, or are you going to go back into slumber? And that's why whoever you're looking towards, who is like a signal bearer and who is like coded to I want to say even uplift you, that's what I just heard, to uplift you and help you remember, that is a blessing, and that can ultimately also be motivation. Like, I don't know, it's very much giving me like a bit ancient coding of, how when, or it doesn't even have to be ancient, it's just reminding me of someone that, like, you seem to be someone that others see worth working for. Like, there seems to be a sense of like seeing or acknowledging that they may not be at your level, but they're still interested in you and they're willing to work for it. Yeah, look. See, I did not make a single thing up. I'm channeling in real time, reading the bloody cards. I love when that happens. Yeah, and apparently don't be surprised if there's going to be a bit of a push and pull happening at the moment, where you feel like, have like fire up you, like you suddenly have fire up your ass again, or you're sensing, wait a minute, like I need to keep up, or I want to keep up, what is it I need to do? And you're working, and then suddenly you go the other side again because it either gets a bit too much, or there's a period where you need to, push and pull, like a period of action and then a period of stepping back again. And that could feel like a push and pull where you're taking a few steps forward and then you kind of retract, but it's not really a step back, it's just more step inward, so you can reflect and you can fine-tune as to, when you're in hermit mode, you get a lot of clarity on things, where, who am I, what are my likes and dislikes, what do I see in the future for me, where like a lot of questions, but it's usually serves you very, very, very well. And you come out of that cocoon wiser, and also more with a template of what you're actually working towards. Because there's one thing putting in a lot of work and working, but there's another thing when you actually know what you're working towards. And I'm also hearing there's a period where you may just be working and you don't really know what you're working for, and that also is significant, because that can teach you about trust and surrender, especially when you are someone who connects with the divine, or you see the divinity within yourself, and you see yourself as God. There's different ways to connect with divinity. Like, that's why I'm saying there's also might even use that as a title. Many different pathways lead to Rome. There's different ways to go about. Everyone. That's why you also have, I don't know how many cultures we have. They all have different practices, but in the greater scope, we still somehow come to the same conclusions, or has the same effects. It's very interesting how that's happened, how that happens, but it's just coding. Just like you can 3 + 6 is 9, but also 4 + 5 is 9. Ooh. That. Whoever gets that, you're a smart cookie. You're a smart cookie. Yeah, and again, just when I say that, we've got King of Swords, of course. You're extremely intelligent. Like, you're probably more intelligent than most people you surround yourself with. Because again, I'm getting a sense that this signal bearer, whoever you can look towards, is really helping you at the moment with remembering, and also remembering, that you may be structured differently. You have different neural pathways, like you process things differently than your peers. because I am picking up on someone who is highly, highly intelligent, and I've already mentioned that in a different YouTube that I know I attract very, 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 very special, like, yeah, pattern recognition. You recognize patterns, you understand coding. So this already came through, but it's just another reminder, or they just want to drill it in your freaking head. You're gonna really want to be just more careful as to who you share your time, your energy, your resources with, because not everyone's going to, for one, be able to match it, but also they're gonna be taking, you know. That's why I'm saying we already touched upon that. Leeches, parasites, they feed off of you. And then you see it as the role that you have to balance the scales. Why don't other people have to balance the scales? You know, why does it gotta be you? Oh, because you're the superior one, and everyone can sense it. But don't you want to be around other, you know, superior ones, or just on your level, more of a match? Because that's ultimately what's gonna really fucking get shit going. And that again brings me back to the beginning, because that seems to be happening. The more you clear the congestion, the more you, in these moments, set boundaries, you say no, you cut off and you starve the leeches and parasites of your time and energy, the more your signal becomes clearer, and you start attracting from a place that is more aligned with who you are and the way you are coded, because they can literally recognize you. If you have like fucking leeches around you, how like it's congested, because also a lot of leeches and parasites literally drain your life force. And that's why apparently you also are recognizing when someone has already done that work and is not congested, because that is exactly what I've been picking up with this second coded person that you can then look towards, who activates you and who helps you remember. And they've cleared the debris. That's why it's staring at you in your face, where you're like, damn, I have some work to do, like I've been slacking, or I'm really getting a sense of just haven't been surrounded by the right people, and that, you know, is not all your fault, I want to say, because some are just naturally attracted to, when you are coded this way, because you're coming through as King of Wands, King of Swords, King of Pentacles. You've got a lot going for you. You've got a lot of, I am getting on really, like, I'm picking up on an ancient bloodline. Others will, they can sniff it out. They might even recognize that something about you is different before you even recognize it. So that's why a lot of my clients as well that are coded this way, they freaking got somewhat either caged, like put in structures where they were put into a role where they fucking feed whole villages. Like, you can think of it as like high voltage electricity posts, and whole villages are getting electricity from that. That's one way to describe you that I'm reading for. Like fucking Tesla coded, you know, really like high voltage. So imagine what you can accomplish when you clear the debris and you align with the right people. And I'm getting a sense that will also just help with what you're dealing with when you do have to make some tough decisions of really just being a bit ruthless and just cutting people off left and right, because they are leeches and parasites, and maybe you do love them as much as you can love a parasite and a fucking leech, because ultimately they're draining you. If you want a leech and a parasite as a fucking pet, then go for it, you know. But maybe you'd rather have a dog or a cat or something a little bit more, I don't know, like regal, loyal. Yeah, I'm kind of digging the 30 mark readings on here, so I'm going to stop now. I think you got another transmission that is probably going to rattle some bones, rattle some cells, some neural pathways for you to, yeah, fucking do better. Nah, that wasn't me. Okay, that's just what I heard.